Hello and welcome to Life is Magical podcast. I'm your host, Srimanju, intuitive healer, Akashic Records reader, Hay House author of Connect Your Inner Guidebook, and who believes in experiencing healing and life is magical. Through this show, I'll be sharing my toolbox, which is full of life hacks, tips for rainy days, ways to hold our connections with the inner guide, and much more fun things. Let us begin this journey.
Hi, beautiful souls. Welcome to Life is Magical podcast. So, today's topic is how to make a productive day in much easier, simplified ways. So, having a productive day is becoming a struggle or becoming a little harder than it used to be before because we are being so diverted or being shifted from one thing to other so quickly. Our attention span has been so reduced to a few seconds, sometimes even. So, it is a real struggle. Including myself as well. So, I would love to share some of the things that are really working for me and how they make changes for ourselves. So, the first thing is when I start out the week on Sunday night, I think about what is my intention for this week. What kind of week that I'm looking forward for it? Is that a quiet week or a grateful week or a kind of a super busy or achieving some things that I'm really wanting to fulfill my projects on? So anything it could be, I'm setting an intention for the whole week to be like. So that is one thing I do on a Sunday. The next thing is every morning when I wake up, I set an intention for that particular day again, saying what today is going to bring me today. What am I need to be prepared with for today? Have I got an important meeting? Have I got an important delivery? Or I just need to be present around. What can I do about it? So I'm again setting another intention for the whole day. So by doing that, you are anchoring into something to look forward to, something to align your energies from the week or from the day. So it gets into a good flow of vibe. And now, coming back into the tasks and everything. So we do get overwhelmed when we look at our to-do list because our to-do list is miles long. Believe me, our to-do things can be brought down into our fingertips very easily. In our to-do list, try to set yourself with what are your actual must do. Right, if you don't do them today, there is no tomorrow. What are those things? And when you look around it, it will be only 2 or 3, the major ones that you need to really deliver, complete them today. And the rest of them can do or love to do or to do, So it can be broken down into that cycle or a chain of things. So again, resetting yourself with your tasks as mandatory, must do, highlight it, without it, it's not going to do. So break it down. That is the number one priority that you can do. And by that, you are just going to be easing into your body, not being overwhelmed with many things that you have and you are kind of anxious about it, right? And now that anxiousness is going to be reduced. So that is the first thing to be looking into and setting ourselves. And doing these things the night before is quite handy rather than waking in the morning and trying to juggle around and spend more time, like an hour of your day going by reshuffling it. When you do them the night before, you have a kind of a clear idea of what your day is going to be like. As said, like the intention as well, it goes very easy with the flow. And you have kind of a peaceful state of sleep and a calmness in your evening, as well as you got in control. You got a plan. You know what exactly you need to do and not be overwhelmed. And when you wake up in the morning, you're just in the flow of it. Hey, I just know what I need to do. I'm going to focus on them. So rather than spreading out everywhere, you are just bringing them into much more narrowed angle of focus. And this is where your stress is melting away and it makes it easier and achievable day. And now with each of the tasks, think about what are the steps that you need to do. Have you got to interact with other people? Or you need to be involved with other people? What can you do about it? In this way, you're breaking the task into minimal things and achievable as well. So you go to planning about hey, doing my chapter I'm going to write for 500 words. So today I'm going to think about this is my chapter going to be like, and I'm going to write 200 words before break time, and then take a break, and then write 250 another words and review it and finish off with 500 words at the end. So there is a kind of a vague idea that I have got, what my tasks are going to be like, my research, what am I going to research about, in my review time as well. So this way you are just breaking it down and being reasonable as well. That's the most important thing. Be reasonable. Most of our anxiousness comes in when we are putting ourselves on a high pedestal rather than what we can practically do as well. Say for example, tomorrow I'm going to wake up and set my goal as I'm going to write 20,000 words. Not doable. That's going to be put me a lot of pressure, and that's going to give me definitely a sleepless night tonight, because I'm worried, what if I don't achieve it? What is this is not going to be, and am I even in the right goal? The whole project, whole production, about the whole task itself, I'm going to doubt myself and my capabilities as well. So rather than that, being reasonable, considering to ourselves, being honest to ourselves is the most important thing that you can commit and deliver it. So do that, break it down, be realistic, super realistic. What are your strengths, and work with your strengths rather than on your weaknesses all the time. Of course we got life to work on our weaknesses, but think about hey, there is a delivery time, but I rather utilize in getting my strength right now, so do check that out. And once you complete the small steps, it gives the momentum to do rest of them. And I love doing this, a little checkbox around my mini task. And every time I put a green mark, it just gives you so much of hope, so much of a light, so much of a rewarding as well. So it is great. You get the momentum building and you finish your task. Yeah, it's a little reward you can do to yourself as well. And try to have one focus task at a time rather than rushing from one step to other step and from one tab to other. Say, for example, in the social media world, we do go scrolling so fast, so quick with our fingertips that actually most of the stuff we're not even reading. We're just scrolling, and only if there is an image that catches our attention, we stop by, we see, and that's it. Proceed again. A lot of people don't even now like or comment, but when I talk to them, they do mention about, hey, I noticed that. We're all getting into that. It's not about the likes or the comments, but it's about how we are moving away from even acknowledging something. So in that moment of time, we are rushing from jumping from one thing to the other. The same is applying into our work, with our goals, with our dreams as well. We are jumping from one thing to the other. But make sure you don't have any distractions when you commit to an hour or 2 hours in your productive time. Yeah. So definitely make sure you're not going to be diverted. Switch on maybe your Wi-Fi if possible, if that's not something you need when you're working on an offline project. Or get away from all your social media, or switch off your phone or any mail distractions as well. In my work, I used to switch off my Outlook, and so I'm not being distracted, and I only open couple of times in the workspace. But when I'm productively working on a task or a project, I'm just dedicating to that part of it. Writing a document, sometimes it just takes you the whole focus and attention. So think about what is distracting you and say no to that and take control back and switch it off. Yeah. And total attention and focus given on one task will help ease with the work being done sooner and more productive, because you are totally being in that moment and anchoring to that particular moment. That's it. There is no distractions. There is no wobbly time there. You're just getting into. And there is this way that I do is work for 15 minutes, take a breathing break, water break, and then work for 15 minutes. I'm not a person that I can work for an hour not being distracted. So I do honor my distractions and I do schedule my breaks as well. Just 2 minutes break between every 15 minutes. And then after an hour, I get out of the chair, I move around, I stretch, and I take 10 minutes break and then come back. So what happens is you're breaking up your energies. It's not getting too stagnant-y. You are moving and you are not feeling the pressure of things. So which is important as well. So think about how you're going to bring that and back into yourself. Yeah. And do anything like little stretch and breath work or water intake are not going to damage, but actually they are going to reward, because when you come back, you're refreshed, you're faster at things rather than on a low speed. Yeah. So which is a good thing. Use the gadgets or the stopwatch to remind, a reminder to take the break. That's a good way to do it, or as a breathing or a relaxing break as well. Sometimes we get overconsumed, we get frustrated as well if things are not progressing as we wanted it to be. And for me, the reminders are great, but also I love the post-its, sticky notes. So put them up around and remind yourself with the positive affirmations. You got this, or you can do it. You're in control of it. Anything that just inspires you. And these are absolutely great inventions. So start using them, right? And put them everywhere that you can see, and don't be afraid that somebody's going to notice this or they're going to think or make fun of you, but actually they're super practical. And having them around gives you some sense of recognition and something to look into, and do the activity on them. Just say stretch, just say breath, and just say focus back. This is going to be a good thing. Yeah. So these are the very simple ways that we can make our day a much more productive and a shorter, chunky kind of a thing that you're going to be finding easier to work on yourself. So see what resonates with you and start working on it. And definitely you can do this. Remember, once you set your intentions, once you set your goals, all you got is give your attention, and only for short times, not for a whole days or weeks or months, just shorter spans of times, and you can do this. You got this. Remember about all the great achievements you have done, and this is just a little thing that you are going through. A speedy, bumpy road could be and you're bringing back yourself. So think about it, how you do resonate, and take what resonates with you and share with me what have you been doing that's working well for you. I love to listen. I love to hear what's working so we can implement as well. And thank you for listening and tuning in. Namaste.
Thank you all for listening in and tuning in to the podcast Life is Magical. I hope you found some good nuggets to move through this week. Want to ask a question? Please email me or stay connected if something resonated or found useful and helpful from this podcast. I love to hear back from you. My email is info@srimanju.com. That is SRIMANJU, which is in the show notes below. Until next week, namaste and good day. Happy magic. Love to you all. Thank you for listening in.